lockbox under loose floorboard, rust on the latch like dried red wine, paper that crackles like old cornfields, 3 riddles, 1 thin spine, names inside it, gold in the hills. I read by flashlight shaking, chills on my arms like drills. The Beale cipher, heartbeats under numbers and scars. Every line, every mark might spell out who we are. I'm tracing letters in the dark, looking for a spark. The Beale cipher, heart buried but it talks. Tavern dust on my open hands, coffee gone cold by the second page, circles and crosses and cheap blue ink, whole damn life on a highway gauge. What if it's nothing? What if it's proof? I chase a stranger's secret till it feels like my truth. The Beale cipher, heartbeats under numbers and scars. Every line, every mark might spell out who we are. I'm tracing letters in the dark, looking for a spark. The Beale cipher, heart buried but it talks. A dead man's trap. If I break the code, do I break myself too? If the chest is empty, was the hunt still true? The Beale cipher, heartbeats under numbers and scars. Every line, every mark might spell out who we are. I'm tracing letters in the dark, looking for a spark. The Beale cipher, heart buried but it talks.
The Beale ciphers are a set of 3 encoded documents, purportedly detailing the location, contents, and rightful heirs of a massive fortune in gold, silver, and jewels buried in the early 19th century near Bedford County, Virginia. For over 140 years, they have stood as the holy grail of American treasure legends, a puzzle that has captivated professional cryptographers, amateur sleuths, and adventure seekers alike, yet remains stubbornly unsolved. The core story. The tale begins with Thomas J. Beale, a Virginia adventurer who, around 1818, led a party of 30 men on a prospecting expedition to the untamed American West. According to the narrative, they struck an enormous vein of gold and silver in what is now Colorado. After mining the treasure, Beale and a few companions transported it back to Virginia for safekeeping, burying it in a secret underground vault. Fearing for the safety of the hoard and his men, Beale is said to have encrypted 3 separate messages. Cipher number 1 describes the precise location of the vault. Cipher number 2 details the contents of the treasure, allegedly 2,921 pounds of gold, 5,100 pounds of silver, and jewels worth 13,000 at the time, valued at over 60 million today. Cipher number 3 lists the names and residences of the treasure's owners and their next of kin. Beale entrusted a locked iron box containing the ciphers to a trusted innkeeper named Robert Morris in Lynchburg, Virginia, in 1822. He then vanished, never to be seen again. Morris, after waiting decades, finally opened the box in the 1840s. Unable to crack the codes himself, he later passed the documents to a friend. The publication and the single breakthrough. In 1885, an anonymous pamphleteer published the Beale Papers, which contained the full story and the 3 number-filled ciphers. The pamphlet revealed one crucial breakthrough: a friend of Morris, likely the author himself, had solved cipher number 2. He did so by using a specific key text, the Declaration of Independence. Each number in cipher number 2 corresponded to the first letter of the nth word in the declaration. For example, the number 1, the first word, when gave the letter W, 2 in gave I, and so on. This method successfully decoded the second cipher, confirming the treasure's staggering contents and lending credibility to the entire story. The enduring mystery. This single success is what fuels the legend and the frustration. If cipher number 2 was solved with the Declaration of Independence, logic suggests that ciphers number 1 and number 3 should be solvable with similar key texts, perhaps other foundational American documents, poems, or books. Despite immense effort, including the use of modern supercomputers and code-breaking techniques developed since World War II, these 2 ciphers have resisted all attempts at decryption. Major theories and controversies. The mystery is shrouded in debate, with 2 primary camps. The believers, they argue the ciphers are genuine, the treasure is real, and that the solution requires finding the 2 lost literary keys. They point to historical research corroborating details in Beale's story and view it as the ultimate solvable puzzle. The skeptics, many prominent cryptanalysts, including the U.S. government's code-breaking agency, the NSA, have studied the ciphers. Their conclusion, based on statistical analysis and the properties of the unsolved codes, is that they are likely an elaborate hoax, possibly a clever promotional scheme for the 1885 pamphlet, or a complex dinner party puzzle created by the author. They note that the solved cipher displays characteristics suspiciously consistent with a 19th century forger creating a code after writing the plain text. I have deposited in the county of Bedford, about 4 miles from Beaufort's, in an excavation or vault, 6 feet below the surface of the ground, the following articles, belonging jointly to the parties whose names are given in number 3, herewith. The first deposit consisted of 1,014 pounds of gold, and 3,812 pounds of silver, deposited November 1819. The second was made December 1821, and consisted of 1,907 pounds of gold, and 1,288 of silver, also jewels, obtained in St. Louis in exchange to save transportation, and valued at $13,000. The above is securely packed in clay pots, with iron covers. The vault is roughly lined with stone, and the vessels rest on solid stone, and are covered with others. Paper number 1 describes the exact locality of the vault, so that no difficulty will be had in finding it. In 1885, a pamphleteer named James B. Ward published the Beale Papers. Ward was not the anonymous friend of Morris who allegedly broke the code, but rather the publisher and, as researchers like Joe Nickell argue, likely the actual author of the entire story. The pamphlet was sold for 50 cents, about $17.50 today, a high price for the time, suggesting the mystery itself was a commercial venture. The decryption of cipher number 2 was presented with a crucial caveat: it required a modified version of the Declaration of Independence. The key text was not the standard version but one with specific textual variations, extra words inserted, others removed, and certain words counted differently, e.g. Self-evident counted as two words, inalienable read as unalienable. This editing allowed the numbers to align perfectly with the first letters of words to produce the treasure inventory. Skeptics see this as evidence of reverse engineering. The plain text was written first, and then numbers were found to match it, rather than a cipher being designed to hide an existing message. The enduring mystery deepened analysis. The resistance of ciphers number 1 and number 3 to all attacks has led to sophisticated statistical analysis. Cryptographers like Jim Gilligley and institutions like Sperry Univac and later the NSA have examined the number patterns. Findings include, non-random but non-linguistic patterns. The unsolved ciphers do not exhibit the statistical properties of English text encoded via a book cipher. However, they also aren't purely random. Their structure suggests they may have been manufactured by a human in base 10, a telltale sign of a hoax. The two-perfect first cipher, when the declaration key is applied to cipher number 1, it produces bizarre alphabetical sequences like Abdivgayajklumnope. The probability of such sequences appearing in a genuine cipher by chance is astronomically low. Some argue this could be a proof of concept left by Beale, but skeptics view it as the mark of a forger unfamiliar with how real ciphers behave. The third cipher's length problem. Cipher number 3 is relatively short. It seems insufficient to list 30 individuals and their next of kin with residences, casting further doubt on its purpose. Major theories and controversies expanded with Wikipedia details. The debate is intensified by specific historical and linguistic discrepancies, the case for a hoax strengthened, anachronistic language. The vocabulary in Beale's letters includes words like stampeding first recorded in English in 1832 and improvise not common in American English until after 1820. This suggests an 1880s author, not an 1820s adventurer. Historical inconsistencies. Robert Morris is said to have been running the Washington Hotel in 1820, but records show he didn't take over until 1823. Furthermore, no verifiable record of a Thomas J. Beale connected to the story has ever been found in contemporaneous documents, despite extensive searches of census and land records. Stylometric evidence. Analysis of writing style demonstrates a high correlation between the author of the pamphlet, Beale's letters, and the solved cipher text, all pointing to James B. Ward as the singular creator. Masonic allegory. Ward was a master mason. Joe Nickell and others propose the story is a Masonic allegory, a secret vault holding precious wisdom like Masonic lore, not literal gold. The tale mimics the structure of Masonic initiation rituals involving hidden knowledge and moral tests. The believer's counterpoints. The complicated hoax. If it's a hoax, why create 3 complex ciphers, solve one with a convoluted key, and craft such an elaborate backstory? The effort seems excessive for a simple pamphlet scam. The Karl Hammer analysis. While skeptical, early supercomputer analysis in the 1960s did indicate the unsolved ciphers had patterns inconsistent with pure randomness, leaving the door open to them being valid encryptions. The lost key necessity. Believers maintain that without the 2 correct key texts, which could be any contemporary book, poem, or legal document, cryptanalysis is futile. The declaration was only meant to be a hint toward the type of key used. Search attempts and cultural impact. Despite the skepticism, the legend has spurred relentless physical searches in Bedford County, leading to unauthorized digs, property damage, and occasional arrests. The tale has also permeated popular culture through television documentaries Expedition Unknown, Brad Meltzer's Decoded, book Simon Sings the Code Book, and even an award-winning animated short film The Thomas Beale Cipher. It endures as a classic American mystery, sitting at the crossroads of history, cryptography, and the timeless allure of buried treasure. I have deposited, in the county of Bedford, about 4 miles from Beaufort's, in an excavation or vault, 6 feet below the surface of the ground, the following articles, belonging jointly to the parties whose names are given in number 3 herewith. The first deposit consisted of 1,1014 pounds of gold, and 3,3812 pounds of silver, deposited November, 1,819 November 1819. The second was made December, 1,821 December 1821, and consisted of 1,907 pounds of gold, and 1,288 pounds of silver, also jewels, obtained in St. Louis in exchange for silver to save transportation, and valued at $13,000. The above is securely packed in iron pots, with iron covers. The vault is roughly lined with stone, and the vessels rest on solid stone, and are covered with others. Paper number 11 describes the exact locality of the vault, so that no difficulty will be had in finding it. The second cipher can be decrypted fairly easily using a modified copy of the United States Declaration of Independence, but some editing is necessary. Citation needed to decrypt it. One finds the word corresponding to the number, e.g. the first number is 115, and the 115th word in the Declaration of Independence is instituted, and takes the first letter of that word in the case of the example, I. Beale used a version of the United States Declaration of Independence slightly different from the original, and made mistakes in numbering it. Citation needed to extract the hidden message. The following 5 modifications must be applied to the original text. After word 154 institute and before word 157 laying, one word must be added. The pamphlet handles this by inserting a before new government. 6. After word 240 invariably and before word 246 design, one word must be removed, probably a. The pamphlet's numbering has 11 words between the labels for 240 and 250. 6. After word 466 houses and before word 495b, 10 words must be removed, probably he has refused for a long time after such dissolutions. The pamphlet has 2 labels for 480. 7. After word 638 and before word 654 2, one word must be removed, probably the. The pamphlet's numbering has 11 words between the labels for 630 and 640. 7. After word 677 foreign and before word 819 valuable, one word must be removed, probably there. The pamphlet's numbering has 11 words between the labels for 670 and 680. 7. Furthermore, words 78 and 79 self-evident, shown hyphenated, are counted as 2 words. The first letter of word 95 inalienable is always used as AU unalienable. Words 509 and 510 of the modified text meantime are counted as 2 words, despite being shown as 1 word. The first letter of the 811th word of the modified text fundamentally is always used by Beale as AY. The first letter of the 1005th word of the modified text have is always used by Beale as an X. Finally, in the decoded text there are 6 errors, probably due to wrong transcription of the original paper. Citation needed. 84, 57, 540, 217, 115, 71, 29, 84 should be 85, 63, consisted. 53 should be 54, 20, 125, 371, 38, 36, 10, 52, rouse and thousand. 2, 108 should be 10, 8, 220, 106, 353, itron in iron. 440 should be 40, 370, 643, 466, ith with 14, 73, 84 should be 85, thc the 807, 81, 96 should be 95, 405, 41, Varldvald. Additional declaration differences affect paper number 1, word 210 of the modified text more is shown as now, words 919 and 920 of the modified text fellow citizens are shown hyphenated also affects paper number 3, 2 extra words made and the are shown in modified text positions 1058 and 1188, a word is removed of after modified text position 1125. The other slight changes probably have no consequences. From Niche Obsession to Mainstream Mystery 1979 to 1999. The founding of the Beale Cipher Association BCA in 1979 marked a pivotal shift from individual pursuit to organized community. For 17 years, its newsletter created a shared intellectual space for amateur cryptologists, historians, and treasure hunters. This period of concentrated activity provided the foundational lore and cast of dedicated researchers that would later become grist for the mainstream media mill. The BCA's work ensured the ciphers were kept alive as an active puzzle just as cable television began seeking real-world mysteries. Simon Singh's inclusion of the ciphers in his best-selling 1999 book The Code Book was the critical bridge, introducing the puzzle to a global, tech-savvy audience within the compelling context of cryptography's history. It framed the Beale story not as folklore, but as a seminal challenge in the science of secret writing, lending it academic-adjacent credibility. The television industrial complex 2000s to 2010s. The proliferation of cable channels dedicated to history, mystery, and adventure transformed the Beale legend into televisual content. Each program, while retreading the same basic facts, served a distinct narrative purpose. The UK's Mysteries series and Unsolved Mysteries treated it with the eerie gravitas of a supernatural tale, emphasizing the haunting vanishings and broken promises. In stark contrast, the History Channel's Brad Meltzer's Decoded 2011 approached it through the lens of conspiracist patriotism, focusing intensely on the Declaration of Independence key and speculating about Founding Fathers' secrets, thus embedding the puzzle deeper into American mythos. Expedition Unknown 2015 brought the adventure reality format, with host Josh Gates performing the literal and symbolic act of digging in Bedford County. This was no longer abstract analysis, it was a physical quest, making the treasure feel tantalizingly tangible. Each show, regardless of tone, reinforced the same core formula, a tantalizing backstory, a display of the cryptic documents, and an open-ended conclusion that invited the viewer to think, maybe I could solve it. Cultural metamorphosis, from puzzle to symbol 2010's present. By the 2010s, the ciphers began to be referenced outside the treasure hunting genre, signifying their absorption into broader culture. The award-winning animated short The Thomas Beale Cipher 2010 is a prime example of this abstracted legacy. It is less about the treasure and more a stylized exploration of obsession, recursion, and the nature of code-breaking itself, treating the historical details as aesthetic fodder for a larger philosophical point. Similarly, National Geographic's The Numbers Game, citing it as one of the strongest passwords ever created, repurposes the legend as a metaphor for unbreakable security in the digital age. The ciphers have become a versatile shorthand, representing any seemingly impenetrable secret or the seductive, potentially futile pursuit of a grand solution. The perpetual motion machine of online speculation. The Internet has acted as the ultimate accelerant and preservative for the Beale mystery. Forums, Subreddits like r Unresolved Mysteries and r Codes, and dedicated websites function as 24/7 global symposiums. Here, the academic statistical proofs are often dismissed or ignored in favor of collaborative, intuition-driven brainstorming. New solutions based on Shakespeare, the Bible, or complex numerology schemes are regularly proposed and deconstructed by the community in a continuous cycle. This digital ecosystem ensures that the 1885 pamphlet is never a closed text but a living document, constantly being re-annotated and retested with every new software tool or AI model released to the public. The 2024 Popular Mechanics article, interviewing modern researchers, exemplifies this. It feeds the ongoing narrative that serious work continues, that the puzzle is still in play, regardless of the cryptographic establishment's verdict.
Lockbox under loose floorboard, rust on the latch like dried red wine, paper that crackles like old cornfields, 3 riddles, 1 thin spine, names inside it, gold in the hills, I read by flashlight shaking, chills on my arms like drills. The Beale cipher heart beats under numbers and scars. Every line, every mark might spell out who we are. I'm tracing letters in the dark, looking for a spark. The Beale cipher heart, buried but it talks. Tavern dust on my open hands, coffee gone cold by the second page, circles and crosses in cheap blue ink, whole damn life on a highway gauge. What if it's nothing? What if it's proof? I chase a stranger's secret till it feels like my truth. The Beale cipher heart beats under numbers and scars. Every line, every mark might spell out who we are. I'm tracing letters in the dark, looking for a spark. The Beale cipher heart. I pawn my watch for another man. I lost my sleep to a dead man's trap. If I break the code, do I break myself too? If the chest is empty, was the hunch still true? The Beale cipher heart.